Have you been seriously injured? Mama Justice is here for you. Our medical team partners with top-notch doctors, surgeons, therapists, and urologists, ensuring a comprehensive recovery journey. While our legal team, proven in securing million-dollar settlements, will fight fiercely on your behalf. With Mama Justice, you aren't just a client, you're family. Lean on us for both your healing and your rights. If you've been injured, call Mama Justice today. We're here for you.
We're glad to be with you. Got the Neshoba Central Marching Band. They're a little earlier today. So that kind of gets the juices going once the marching band gets going. And a lot of buzz. Bill Cork joins us now, Executive Director with Mississippi Development Authority. Good morning.
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Thanks for coming by.
Man, it's great to be here.
Do you want to jump into this perceived Republican primary field for governor that we're still 16 months away? I feel like everybody else is in.
I'm not going to join this crowd.
Or is rumored to be in.
Yeah, I'm not going to join this crowd. I have neither the appetite nor the financial resources to play that game.
There you go. Andy Gibson told us money's not going to be a problem, though. We'll take care of the money.
Praise Jesus.
Money has been at the forefront of what you do and what Governor Reeves is doing on a daily basis. I remember the first time you and I sat down together, you said, things are going well and we got a lot more on the way, a lot more pipeline projects that are existing. That has not slowed down.
No.
And the numbers, it's almost like we've become immune to the size of some of the numbers of these projects.
It's not only the size, especially the giant data center projects, which when you start talking billions, people kind of glaze over because they don't realize what that means.
Yeah.
But it's also just the sheer number of projects. We announced 3 projects in the last 2 weeks with over 500 jobs in places like Pike County, in LaFleur County in the Delta, in Alcorn County yesterday. It's not just the sheer volume, it's the number of projects, and the locations are so diverse, and everybody's that's in the game is getting a taste of this growth, and it's just really been amazing to watch.
One of the things, and I've mentioned this, every time you come on, I can go to the C Spire text line and look, and people are like, well, what about a project in Southwest Mississippi?
Mm-hmm.
What about a project in the Mississippi Delta? And your message in the past has been be patient. We're working on those. But it takes a lot to pull it off. It's not just, hey, we want to drop a company or a project in this location, go be their company. The company has to want that as well. But we're seeing a little more momentum in the diversity of the locations, right?
It takes some time. We started in 2020 with the legislature and the governor developing a vision around site development, which is making sure we have the product, the industrial park space to locate these projects. And many of the counties are now on board with that. There's been a lot of fear of missing out. There's been a lot of peer pressure to get engaged. And, I've spoken to the county boards of supervisors conventions and gone and met with over 25, 30 counties throughout the state in private meetings to just help get them mobilized around what does it take to win. And it takes time to change a culture where folks are not used to figuring out how to get this done. And so it's part education, it's part resources, and then also it's just, I think there's a competitive landscape out there now where counties are just thinking, well, hey, I want to get in this game and I want to win. And that's what we need. That's the kind of competitive environment that makes it for a thriving business environment.
Are there any municipalities or counties that are pushing back and saying, we actually don't want this, or we're going to stand in the way of some of the, whether it's data center or otherwise?
I don't think that's necessarily pushback in the sense of we don't want any growth or any development at all. But there are communities that have a sense of what they want their community to be like and the kind of development that they want to come.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Oxford, Mississippi, which is, your
right,
neck of the
hometown.
woods. I mean, they're not starving for industrial development up there. They want more of a biotech, high-tech, something complementary to the university environment. Sure. So, we're not showing Lafayette County for a lot of major industrial projects just because if I brought a major smokestack operation to Lafayette County, I'd probably get run out of town. So it's not necessarily the pushback on development. It's like we want to control our development. We want to control our future.
So it is strategic in nature.
Strategic in nature, yeah. And your friend and mine, Ryan Miller, is working through that right now, for example, in Lafayette County, how to adapt what the community wants to the market demands that are out there.
I always throw this at you. What's next?
We've got a couple of big announcements coming, as you know. I mean, there's always announcements.
I feel like I could clip the last time and the time before that and the time before that. You were on again. Yeah, we got some big announcements that are on the way.
Just lather, rinse, repeat is what we say around the office. We are in the final negotiation stages. This is essentially a done deal, but you're going to hear about another project with 2,200 jobs coming to Mississippi. We'll announce in the next couple of weeks. That'll be one of our largest employment announcements in the history of the state. It'll be rank up there in the top 3 or 4 overall, so that's coming. And it's not a data center.
Okay.
But what's interesting about that project is it's data center adjacent. We've heard a lot of things about data centers not creating any jobs, but this is actually a supplier to that national and global data center market. They make things that go into data centers. So when we hear this story about there's no spillover effects from data centers, I kind of chuckle because it's going to be one of the largest announcements we do in the state.
Well, the data center conversation is like it's the big bad boogeyman for a lot of people, and then there are a lot of people that are like, it's not as bad. Now, are they visually appealing? I guess that's up for debate, but some of the conversations about energy, electrical energy, and water, I don't know that overblown is the right way. I mean, I think there are reasons for people to ask questions and want to understand more, but the automatic assumption that big data center equals bad, has that been debunked?
I wouldn't say debunked. I think there's legitimate concerns that any local community that wants to, work in partnership with a major data center developer should ask these questions. These are not inappropriate questions to ask of any major industrial development project in your community. You should know exactly what the externalities or the impacts are going to be to your community, and you should ask those questions. Now, I think on the big announcements we've had, like with XAI and AWS, we feel pretty satisfied, and the governor, I think, feels pretty satisfied that these companies come with a water story and a power story that's going to be negligible to no impact over the long term on the local residents. And the community leaders that supported these projects also agree. So we think we have alignment around those issues. But are there bad actors in any industry? Yeah, there are. And in the early days of the data center craze, there was a lot of exploitation of available power and water, and the technology and the sensitivity around these issues wasn't there, and so you had a rush to market. And there were some negative things that happened in places like Virginia and on the West Coast that created this uprising. But what I can tell you is I've been briefed by federal authorities that a lot of the narrative development around data centers that's negative is coming out of China and Chinese bot farms that are just filtering through all these social media feeds. And it's not hard to see. If you just go out and do a couple of clicks, you can find these guys.
Yeah, and I feel like in some ways we were kind of on the front edge of talking about that. Your friend and mine, Joe Stratinger, with Edge Theory, talking about narrative intelligence. I mean, a year ago was on. He goes, Richard, he's like, a lot of the misinformation or the negative information, you could trace it to Beijing.
Tehran, Moscow. I mean, these are not our friends, and they know that we have a competitive advantage right now in artificial intelligence, which is coming whether we like it or not.
And it's really about sowing discord among people.
Yeah, they want to create confusion and discord amongst us to slow us down while they catch up and beat us. That's the game they're playing. So I just urge people, ask the questions, absolutely ask the questions of the companies, of your local officials. Make sure that your concerns are satisfied, but you should do that with any industrial project that comes to your community, not just the data centers.
The jobs numbers that the governor posted about yesterday, over 1.1 million non-farm jobs, which is an all-time record in Mississippi.
It's 1.195 and some change, almost 1.2 million, which is the highest employment in the state of Mississippi's history. Our labor force participation rate is improving. The wage rates, I know you just had Philip Gunn on your previous second talking about wage increases. Almost all these jobs that we are now bringing into the state produce a higher than average manufacturing wage, which is north of $68,000 a year. So these are the project that was announced in Greenwood in LaFleur County just a week ago. Those jobs are averaging $109,000 in the middle of the Mississippi Delta. So, we are going to move the needle. And I'll say one other thing, Richard. We've announced over almost 26,000 jobs. That's going to be about 28,000 here in the next couple of weeks. Most of those jobs haven't even been filled yet. because the companies are still under construction or underway. So there's going to be a lagging effect on this employment that's going to happen over the next few years, and we're going to continue to see this momentum happen.
But when you throw those numbers out, and forgive me for being elementary, when you say 68,000 to 109,000, you're talking about $32 to $55 an hour.
Correct.
If you want to break it down to an hourly wage, because for some people that's a little more consumable. That's real money.
It's real money. It doesn't include benefits. It doesn't include overtime.
Right.
It doesn't include other things that come along with it. And if you qualify for Mississippi's incentives, these companies are required to pay at least 50% of their employees' health insurance premiums in order to even get into our game. So these are really, really good, high-quality jobs we're bringing in here.
Always appreciate your time. Look forward to next time when we can stretch it out a little bit more, but we're one after another this morning.
It's
Thanks
been great
so much
to be with you, Richard. Have a great fair.
Bill Cork, Executive Director of the Mississippi Development Authority. We're back with you right after this. Michael Watson is next.